Hi, welcome to this part. We will look at some more questions around AWS Solution Architect Profession. If you have not yet subscribed, do so. It will help you with certifications around AWS, Azure Cloud, and Google Cloud. See, in this question, you are having a database. So this is your database. This is on-premises OP. Now you are migrating it to a database in AWS environment. What is that database called? RDS for Postgres, and you have to migrate it. Okay, for migration, you need internet speed. What is the speed? The internet link is 50 MB with a VPN in VPC, and you need to migrate the data and synchronize the changes before the cutover. So the speed is not awesome. The cutover must take place within 8-day period. So within 8 days, you have to move this. This is the speed you have given. You have been given, and how much data you have to move? You have to move 10 terabytes of data. You want to use least complex method, and it should be secured and reliable. So whenever you want to migrate data, always remember there is a service called AWS DMS. That is our service. Whichever option has this service, we have to use it. So where we do not find, so we cannot see the usage in here. Option C. Option C is wrong. Okay. Now let us look at option D. Option D, it is telling that you will copy the database using schema conversion. Schema conversion is just to migrate the schema and not the data. So they will when the data is available in S3, use DMS to load. So DMS is used for migration, not just the load. So this is wrong. B is telling that we will create DMS job to continuously replicate the. See, that means B is going to make use of internet. Internet speed is very less, so you are not going to achieve your task in 8 days. You have to achieve your task in 8 days. So the only option left is option A, where you order a snowball device. It will come to you in a day. You use DMS to load the data in RDS and synchronize before the cutover. So you copy the database using DMS and you send it back to AWS, and AWS will load the data and etc. So AWS, see, uh, let's decode the second piece from here. Okay. So what happens is AWS receives your courier, the snowball device they receive, they put the data in S3. Now from S3, you have to again use DMS to load the data in RDS and configure a job synchronize changes before the cutover. So this is important. So there are two actions. You order snow ball device, you put the data there using DMS, you send the snowball device back to AWS, and AWS will load the data in S3, and then from S3, you now it is your task. AWS has loaded the data from Snowball to S3 bucket. Now it is your task. You will use DMS to load the data in RDS. Remember, from Snowball device, AWS will not load the data in RDS. They will only put it in S3 bucket. If you want to read this clearly, this is the explanation of the. Please subscribe to this channel. It will help you with certificate. Okay, this is the next question. There is a solution architect. They must maintain an application environment within Beanstalk. So you have this environment where you have Beanstalk. Okay, this is not bullshit. This is Beanstalk, and they use blueprint deployment method. Now you have created one more environment which is replica of this. This is also bullshit. Sorry, Beanstalk, and this is a replica. Now, what should be done next to complete the update? You have to do what kind of update? Blueprint. Now, option A says, I will redirect to the new environment using Route 53. You are going to tell Route 53, boss, don't go here, go here. Okay, that is what you are going to tell it. This will not work because this is it can be used for DNS changes. Beanstalk offers a more integrated blue-green swap. See, whenever you see Route 53, it is a DNS solution. So there is no mention of DNS in our question. That's why we will not use this. B says, guys, let's select swap environment URLs option. So you swap this environment URL. People who are getting here, the URLs have changed, so we are not getting here. Okay. So this will work fine. This uses being stock swap environment, and it has zero downtime method, and this is good for blue. D says we will update DNS records to point to the green environment. So that is exactly what the swap URLs option B is doing automatically. That's why D is wrong. And then C is telling that replace auto scaling launch configuration. So this is not the final step required for blue green swap. So you read this portion. So our answer in this case is we will swap the environments URLs option. This is the best option. See, first of all, option A, DNS is not in question. So why are we talking about 53? D, DNS record. See, when we are talking about blue green, we will swap it. We will not use a DNS based option to provide the same solution. And auto launch configuration, we don't need a auto scaling. Auto scaling is like if there are loads, the workloads cannot be handled, then we use auto launch configuration, auto scaling launch configuration. Here it is not required. because the question is not telling that there is enormous amount of workload and you need to meet those demands. The question is not telling. See, there is a company, they are having a legacy application running on servers on premises. So see, this is your on premises, they have servers deployed here and they are running it here. And they want to increase the reliability of the application to gain insights and etc. for application logs. The solution architect is given the following requirements. They want to aggregate logs using AWS. See, even though you are on premises, you want the logs to go to AWS. This is your AWS environment and the logging should be there. Okay, and automate log analysis for errors. Here you have to, once the log comes, you have to automate and you have to analyze the log. And the third option is you have to notify the operation teams when the errors go beyond a specific threshold. So there are a lot of errors. Suppose you tell that I can only approve three errors related to compute over usage, and there are three errors. Now you should be informed. So you should not notify. Notify means there should be some sort of solution like SMS, etc., to send the emails or CloudWatch and etc. That should be there. Option A is talking about leveraging Kinesis agent. Whenever we are talking about real-time solutions, then you should use Kinesis. Otherwise, Kinesis of no use here. See, this is making use of Kinesis agent, Kinesis data streams, Kinesis data analytics. This is a very expensive solution, and this is specifically for real-time. Don't use it here. X-ray reagents to say X-ray is to scan and understand. See, what is X-ray used for? You have a chest X-ray. They just want to go inside, understand if your bones are fine or etc. Or if your lungs have some patch for COVID and etc. That is why X-rays are used. Here also for diagnosis it is used. Right now the question is not just diagnosis. First you have to understand what is the capturing data capturing mechanism for the logs. You have to first assign. So like we say, X-ray is for tracing requests, not primarily for generation of general application. So option B is wrong in this. So always remember, if you are going to send emails, it has to have an option of SNS or CloudWatch logs. So both has this option. In this case, send email is being used. This is crap. This is not required. Logstash, anyways, Logstash is not a AWS service. You have to use something which for AWS. So option D is correct. So with option D, you are going to install CloudWatch agents. Each of the servers, you have this on-premises. Each of the servers has to be installed with agents, CloudWatch agent. The agent keeps running and it constantly takes the log data and keeps sending it to AWS. So this is AWS. It will keep sending to AWS. Once it comes to AWS, send the log to AWS. You need to use metric filters to identify errors. You are identifying errors now. Now, based on the threshold breach, you will have to create a CloudWatch alarm. This is going to send the notifications to the operations team for error. So this is the best thing. We use this in production environments in our projects also. See, this is again a question where they are talking about DDoS attack. You have some EC2 instances. So you have this, suppose this is EC2, this is one instance, this is another instance, and like this, you have so many EC2 instances. You have to protect them with DDoS attack. Whenever you talk about DDoS and application layer attacks, we need two answers here in this case. So in this case, when we are talking about DDoS attacks, the DDoS attacks you should use Shield first. Okay. Then you have application layer attacks. For application layer attacks, ALA application layer attacks, you should make use of WAF. Okay. So these are two things. So which ones you will use here? The first option you should choose, which has Shield in it. Okay. So Shield, we see. Okay. So right now we have Shield where migrate the DNS to Route 53 and use Shield. See, the first thing why you are migrating the DNS to Route 53, because Route 50 you are telling Route 53, buddy, you decide where to send the data, and you should use Shield so that the data is protected against, or whatever the environment is protected against data. So this should be our first answer. Okay, now why we are not using AWS Shield here? See, when we are talking about using an internet gateway in the VPC, this is internet gateway is exposing the service to the internet. If you are trying to make your environment secure, internet gateway is not the best option to be used here in this case. So that's why we will say internet option is wrong in this case. Okay, now C is telling let's put the EC2 instances in auto scaling group and configure a WAF on it. Okay, WAF will take care of application layer attacks, but if you put EC2 instances on auto scaling group, the challenge is WAF. See, the problem is WAF. It can only be configured on ALB or CloudFront. ALB or CloudFront. Okay. So WAF, if you're talking about WAF cannot be put on EC2. WAF can be configured on ALB, which is sitting in front of EC2, or you can put it on CloudFront. These two. So that's why C is wrong because they are directly plugging it on EC2. They are not talking about ALB. That is why this is wrong. A is telling that let's put EC2 instance behind NLB. So we want ALB and not NLB here because we are talking about uh, layer 7 attacks. Application layer attacks means application layer, not network layer. So this is wrong. Okay, so finally we have these two options. My first, you migrate the DNS to Route 53. Route 53 has detox shielding as well, and you use shield there. And the second thing is, see, Route 53 is having good shielding options. So you use shield there, and then you use CloudFront distribution. CloudFront will and configure WAF. So WAF can be configured on CloudFront. It cannot be directly configured on EC2. It can be configured on ALB, but not on LLB. Okay. If you want to read more, you read this portion. This will give you some more understanding. And subscribe to this channel, Cloud Guru Ninja channel. This will help you with AWS, Google Cloud, and Azure Cloud certification. See, there is a photo sharing company. Okay, something like you have some other companies like any photo sharing. Facebook can also be a photo sharing company, or Pinterest. Pinterest is a photo sharing company. So they are receiving 10,000, 10,000 to 1,50,000 images daily, like 150K images daily max. So the company receives the images from multiple suppliers. There are so many suppliers. So okay, so suppose this is your film interest. These are the different suppliers. They are all putting the images here. Okay, and users registered with the service. The company is moving to AWS. Now they are telling because I'm moving to AWS and want to enrich the existing metadata by using data using recognition. They want to enrich the existing metadata by using recognition. So recognition can go through the images, etc., recognize and create a metadata. The example of such additional data, the following is example of such additional data like list celebrities. So the recognition will run on the images and it will decide, it will analyze and say, okay, is there a celebrity in there? Is there a Shah Rukh Khan picture here? Is there uh, whatever, yeah, is there a Rihanna picture here and so on? I don't know much of celebrity, sorry for that. And what color of the clothes they are wearing? Are they looking happy? Are they looking sad, etc. And so on. So as a part of cloud migration program, the company uploaded existing image data to S3 and told users to upload images directly to S3. So now everybody, company is saying, boss, I am uploading to S3. You also upload your images to S3 because most likely recognition will run on S3. They will just run on the images which are stored on S3. So what should the solution architect do to support this requirement? Okay, so let us go with option D first. Option D is saying, guys, I will use Lambda and Lambda based on S3 event notification to create metadata using recognition. Okay, and I will use RDS to store the metadata. So storing metadata for RDS for such applications, it will reduce the performance. So you should not use RDS for this. You should use a NoSQL database like a DynamoDB to store the metadata. So that's where this is wrong. Now option C is saying that you might very well be inclined that, hey guys, let's use SQS2 because it will decouple certain things and I will not get timeout error and so on, kind of things. Okay, so here they are telling I will use this as SQS and then I will uh, see SQS based queue for event notifications, event S3 event notification. What is SQS? See, SQS, so what are we going to put in SQS queue? The people have images on their on premises and they are directly going to upload on S3 S3 buckets, and that's where the event notifications will get generated. So you have to trigger it to process it. So what is going to process it? How say they are just saying you will send the metadata, but how will you extract the metadata? Create additional metadata. How will you do that? So this problem is not addressing that. So just saying an application running on EC to extract data from recognition using API. So this is all crap. Okay, this is not going to work. Now B is telling that I will use Kinesis stream to get the data based on event and then use EC2 to extract the data and etc. etc. Okay, that the problem is and they are going to store the data on MSL. You have to store the you have to store the metadata on DynamoDB, not the data. Okay, that is first thing. Second is use Kinesis to stream. See, Kinesis is used for real time kind of application. The moment you see Kinesis and if there is no real time in the question, just strike it off because there is no real time in the question. You can upload it at your own leisure to S3 bucket. So there is no real time. So the right answer is option A. In this case, what you will do is, see, understand this. So there will be a S3 event notification. When you upload it, there will be an S3 event. The moment Lambda sees that there is a S3 event, Lambda gets triggered. Lambda says, "Oh my God, I have some work to do now." So Lambda then it creates additional metadata using recognition. So Lambda would tell recognition, buddy, can you start scanning and creating this metadata? Yes. Recognition says, okay, buddy, I will go ahead and recognition creates the metadata. Now recognition says, buddy, where should I store this metadata? So then we said, boss, go to DynamoDB. DynamoDB is a NoSQL database. It is very good for such kind of applications. We should never store such kind of metadata in in RDBMS databases like RDS, Aurora, etc. We should store it in DynamoDB, which is a NoSQL database. Uber, etc. use DynamoDB to give high performance booking applications, cab booking applications. So we use DynamoDB here to store the metadata. And we use ES to create an index, Elasticsearch, because tomorrow if you want to search based on the metadata, like how many pictures I have where people are wearing yellow colored photo, how many pictures I have where I have Shah Rukh Khan in the images. So if you want to search that, that is why you have to create a Elasticsearch to create that index and use webfront to provide search capabilities back on the ES. So because people now have to search, you have to give them some screen to search. That screen is a webfront screen, front-end screen, a web front-end screen. You will give some screen for them to search, and that search will be enabled by using Amazon ES. If you want to read more, these are the four options and how we have analyzed it. We have put it here. Please subscribe. This will help you with AWS, Azure Cloud, and Google Cloud certifications. Very important to build your concepts from a layman perspective, right? From layman to becoming an expert. See, there is a solution architect. They are redesigning an image viewing and messaging platform to be delivered as SaaS. Okay. Currently, there is a farm of virtual desktop infrastructure. So they have a lot of virtual desktops. Okay, infrastructure that runs desktop image viewing and a desktop messaging application. Everything is on desktop. Both applications use a shared database to manage user accounts and sharing. So you have a shared database. Okay, so these all guys use shared databases. So users log into the web portal that launch the application, streams the view of the application on user's machine. Uh, and the development operations team wants to move away from using VDI and wants to rewrite the application. So, okay, they have this kind of application. You want to rewrite it. You want to come to AWS and you want to rewrite it using the most cost-effective architecture, and you want to make it secure and it should be easy to manage as well. Okay, so in this question, what is the key point that you have to remember? The key point is you are trying to see in this case what is happening is they are having manage user accounts, and user accounts they are managing by using a database. Okay, so in AWS, will you use a database to manage user accounts? No, you will not use a database. You need something like a IAM, Cognito, etc. That kind of service, because AWS has this service. In on-premises, they didn't have this service, so they mimicked and created that kind of functionality using a database and so on. So in AWS, you cannot use a database. So option D is wrong, because what are they doing? They are making use of RDS for user accounts. This is not going to work. Okay. Then again, option C is also wrong, because they are making use of RDS for user accounts, which we should not use. We should use a solution which is available in AWS. Okay. Now, B, A and B. A and B, one of these is the answer. Because, first of all, they're making use of Cognito here, which is the service you should use for user accounts. And here also, they are making use of Cognito. So, one of them should be the answer. Let's dive in depth. Now, B, the problem with B is they are trying to make use of EC2 Linux servers, and that is not most cost effective. Using H3 bucket is most cost effective. That is one. See, both are showing images, and the other thing is to they are so this question is not talking about blueprint deployments. This question is not a deployment question. Here they are talking about using cloud formation templates. We are not talking about deploying this on a server. Okay, what we are talking about is, see, you put something on S3 bucket. You have a website. You put it on S3 bucket. It is best for static. You upload images and messaging data. It is fine. Now, how to make it dynamic? You will use Lambda functions from embedded JavaScript to make it uh, or to address the dynamic content. And once that is addressed, you will use Cognito for user and sharing management. So this is the perfect solution. Option A will work perfectly fine in this. If you have not yet subscribed, do so. It will help you with AWS, Google Cloud, and GCP certificate. And this video is all about AWS Solution Architect Professional. If you have not become a member, Cloud Ninja member, you take that membership. It will give you access to so many other questions around this topic. This is an advanced certification, a complex certification, very difficult to clear, extremely difficult to clear. If your concepts are not clear, this videos or this channel is helping you with clearing those concepts. Subscribe to this channel, become a member, and help yourself clear the certification.